When it comes to learning about money and managing finances, a new study shows American teenagers just aren't getting it. So what do we do as parents to help change that statistic? Ted Beck, President and CEO of the National Endowment for Financial Education, is here with some ideas. Hi, Ted.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. And I appreciate you showing some interest in this. This is something that we think is very important. The study that we're talking about compared how our 15-year-olds are doing against 15-year-olds around the world. And it really studied 18 countries. And we came in 9th, which is not terribly impressive, sort of painfully average. And fewer than 10% of our students actually performed in the top category. So we've got some work to do here. This should be a national priority. If we want to have young people who are going to be globally competitive, they really need to know how to keep their financial house in order.
Well, what are your suggestions on helping these teenagers? I actually have a couple of teenagers and a new adult in my house. What are your thoughts and what are some ideas on how we can change this?
Well, the important thing is to start early because parental involvement is critical here. So talk to your kids about money. At a very early age, explain how you pay bills and how you have a job that gives you a paycheck, and that's how lights get paid for, that's how heat gets paid for, that's how where you live gets paid for.
Right, but the argument...
So make them part of the discussion.
Okay, I understand that, and I agree. Some of the argument on the other side, though, is that people tend to hold back and shy away from sharing too much because they don't want their kids or their teens to feel stressed about money at such a young age. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you don't have to go through specific numbers, but talk about the process, because they need to have an understanding of that. So, and again, this should be a discussion, not a lecture, not talking about how, you know, you've worked hard to do this, but this is just explaining the mechanics.
Okay.
And this should be done gradually over time.
Okay. What are some of the best tools for teaching our teens about money right now?
Well, that discussion is important. Also, understanding some of the mechanics. If you need some help with that, you can go to our website, smartaboutmoney.org. That'll give you some tips about not only how to have the discussion, but what should be covered. Okay.
Are you suggesting that, along with obviously saving, that we open accounts? I've recently done that for our teenagers. We've opened savings accounts, checking accounts. They also have their own debit cards, which makes me a little bit nervous. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as long as you're talking with them about how they're managing their money and making sure that they don't get themselves in any sort of trouble, I think that's a very good process. You're asking them to be responsible, and that's a good thing.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for the encouragement on this. It's definitely useful, especially this time of year as we're getting started back to school, and kids are putting their money that they've worked for this summer into place.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. We've got a resource links on our website for you to help start the conversation with your teens today. Just go to thebroadcasttv.com and then click on today's links. Thank you so much for joining us today.